Warning: the following broadcast features thoughts, ideas, and opinions you might find offensive. If you're easily angered, insulted, hurt, provoked, outraged, or annoyed, the following may offend you. The views expressed in this show are solely those of the individuals providing them and do not reflect the opinions of YouTube or Google. So please, don't flag this video. Viewer discretion is advised.
Woo!
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi guys. How are you guys?
Welcome back to Does This Offend You?
Yay. How many years? Things that we don't know. That I asked you this time.
I don't know.
I'm just a curious girl. Someone's let us know, I think. I have no idea. Well, if this is like the 73rd episode, which is
73rd.
insane.
Yeah. It's
I don't know the math. Someone figure out.
I don't know either. I feel like, well, we haven't done exactly 12 a year because we
No.
always skipped like October usually, or at least 1 month. So so 11, I don't know math. So we've done at least 11 episodes a year. I don't know.
We've been here for a while, guys. Hello.
No
Thanks.
idea. No idea. And we still don't know. We clearly don't know anything about our show. We don't know how long we've been doing it. We don't know.
Yeah.
I barely remembered how to get us live.
And I totally messed up by not confirming that we weren't going to have a December episode as well. We just said, bye, guys, in the end of November, I'm pretty sure.
Did we really?
I'm pretty sure we forgot to say, like, there won't be an episode next month. Yeah, they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to put that in the after show that 3 people watch.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it because obviously we talked about it.
Yeah.
My brain didn't even.
Yeah, well, we were really into the subjects. I think did we do Front Room last?
Funny. Yeah, we did Hacksploitation.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Live for it.
So it makes sense now because the very first person in here, it's like seems like ages since your last episode.
Stella called out.
Our bad. Sorry,
Hey, Stella, we know.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
Okay, Civic has. Oh, but we didn't start at the beginning of a year. I think it was like April. So Civic mathed it.
So we'll just take 6 years.
Sure.
We'll figure it out. How about, you know what? How about we figure it out after the show and come back and save your precious time? How about we do it? Thank you, guys.
We do our own work here on Does This Offend You? All right. Okay. So refresher, I guess it's been a month, 2 months actually. Oh, wait, I don't know. No, you know what? I'm not gonna try and do that.
In 2 months, yeah. We saw you guys back in November.
Yeah, there you go. Let me stop myself right there before I make an embarrassing comment. So this is Does This Offend You? We always talk about 2 movies that are, I don't want to say like, I mean, we've evolved, like they're not like fully controversial, have controversial topics.
We've done all the very obvious ones. So
Yes,
now
we
we just take 2 films that kind of have interesting themes, I would say. And go
and
through.
We watch them. Yeah, watch them like with a lens of like, let's talk about the
lens.
That's very important. We're watching this for a very specific reason. Most of the time we like the movies, and
that was it. That was a detective.
we're nearly never offended.
Yes.
We're nearly never offended. I think it's happened like 1 time for each of us.
Maybe a little bit more than that, but yeah. A handful of times.
Yeah, a handful of times. It's just a clever title. So we're gonna do a lot of reaching, definitely for this episode for sure.
I wasn't expecting it, which is nice. Isn't it nice when you watch something and you're like, this isn't that problematic?
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
I feel like it's made me more discerning when I watch any movie, where I'm like, maybe like previously 6.5 years ago, that might have maybe set off alarm bells more, but now I'm like, well, this is not bad.
Yeah, maybe we've watched some really bad ones with some more controversial takes that now,
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned a lot,
Yeah.
especially
Look at
about
this.
exploitation.
Hey, occasionally we still keep it new. We teach everything. We teach you guys all the new things. I don't think we have any fun. I don't think these fall into a fun category like hacksploitation. But they
No.
have some very interesting similarities. I feel like this always happens to us. Like we start off
Yeah.
with a theme and then we find like very weird specific things that the films have in common.
Yes, exactly. But that's what comes down to reaching and
It's true.
like symbolism in film. Like you can sit down and watch any, especially fucking a Jordan Peele film. You can sit down and you can find anything, even if it's not there. It's like errors. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I feel. Like every time we watch two films, I'm like, wait a minute.
We'll find anything in common. But I feel there's one, and we'll talk about it when you mentioned it in like a DM. I was like, oh fuck, it's like weird.
Yeah, I thought it was going to go down the same path, to be honest. Even though I'd seen both of these films before. So today, obviously, we're talking about Frozen, the 2010. I knew I was waiting for someone as soon as I posted it to do like, are you talking about Frozen the Disney? Oh my god, Lane! You had to be the girlie in the room, Lane.
Nice.
Had to wait for it. I know Lane's just cracking up at home right now. And Fall. So that was fun. I actually saw Fall the first time in the cinemas, and it was so good on big screen.
I don't think I could have handled it.
I love it.
The whole movie. I don't think I've ever experienced that where my palms were sweaty like the entire time. Like I was so nerve-wracked the entire time watching it. I almost couldn't watch it. Like the amount of times I was kind of just like, I'm like, I can't. Like I literally can't.
About it being made. That's what I always do. Like think about like the behind the scenes and how they're like putting it together.
I looked that up. Like I paused the movie and I looked it up because I was like, maybe that'll help me.
Yeah.
It's like if I don't think about them being that high up.
Yeah. Well, there's no way they can be that high up.
Well, yeah. But
there's no way they could have shot that all on drone. But yeah.
I don't know. I was pretty convinced.
I think that it's probably important just to say as well today is full spoilers, guys. Full spoilers. We're going to spoil these films. Guess what? There's a fall.
There's a fall. Somebody's going to get frozen.
Yeah. It's going to be cold, guys. Spoiler alert. Freezing out there.
I'm trying to quickly make a poll because I forget that that's a function here.
Okay. Which goes first?
Yeah.
Okay,
which
guys,
one
let us know.
First?
Have we covered everything? Yeah. Just spoiler.
Normally we do like a general content warning. These ones are not like really bad. Maybe some like animal stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably
animal
about
death.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a horror. And does this offend you? That always comes up. That's always on my like just shitty easy plot device.
Yeah.
Which one is first, guys? Choose.
Which
I'm gonna vote too. Which should I vote for?
Which one?
I'm gonna vote for that.
It's
we were thinking the same.
Very clear winner so far.
I wasn't expecting that.
I don't think I don't know if
recount
other votes. Yeah.
Okay. Stop
the vote.
These digital votes, I tell you. Someone's hacked it.
It's rigged. I don't think Fall is going to come back from that. So I think we're starting with Frozen.
Yay! Which in timeline, I guess, release
makes sense.
Makes more sense.
Okay, well, you guys made quick work of that. Thank you very much. Big preach. All right, let's stop the steal. Stop this. Funny. Oh, someone says I always just pick the earlier one chronologically. Hey, you know what?
Sense.
That makes sense. Alrighty. Frozen. Let me find my summary. Okay, I actually tried to summarize these two this time.
You did well. I was like, wow, that's a lot. But I feel like these films are really good to talk about because they're both very similar in structure in terms of it's like a physical film. So it is really important to kind of break down exactly what happens. It's not like an interpersonal. Well, there are interpersonal, details. We'll get into it, but
True. And you're right. Yeah. This will be a slightly longer, guys, and we're jumping right into the spoilers. I'm about to tell you
spoilers,
very quick bullet point, like everything that happens. All right. So starting off with Frozen, directed by Adam Green, came out in 2010. So long ago. So we're following friends Joe and Dan, who are having like a ski day trip. I think it's just a day trip, along with Dan's girlfriend Parker. The addition of Parker to Guy Time has Joe feeling some type of way, as he feels her beginner snowboarding chops are slowing them down. Hoping to get in one good run on a more advanced hill, they convince a lodge worker to let them up the mountain once more, but get stuck on the ski lift when the employee shut it down until the following weekend. Faced with freezing temperatures, Dan jumps from the lift, breaking his legs. A pack of wolves attack and kill him, leaving Joe and Parker on the lift.
The way you're saying this so straight-faced is killing me. Then he jumps around, breaks his legs.
Then he jumps down, breaks his legs.
Making his body.
Not letting my emotions get me on this one. Where was I? Okay. After another day of isolation and frostbite, Joe climbs along the wire. I don't know what that is. Wire of the lift and makes it to the ground. He tries to get away. The pack of wolves chasing after him. Parker is left on the lift, which has come loose, and her chair eventually falls, and she makes it onto the ground.
She glides. She glides.
She really does glide. She's kind of just like belly, like a snake.
I know. It's such an amazing, that never happens in horror movies where there's a bolt. There's even a bolt in the other film. Oh my god! When the thing comes undone.
Oh my fuck!
Oh my god! They're exactly the same. But she doesn't have a graceful landing, unfortunately.
No.
The way that the bolts, and you're like, oh no, nothing.
Yeah.
It's a very Final Destination, and then I was like, oh, all we had to do was wait for the bolt to fall out.
Yeah,
the whole time.
I feel like that's kind of the best way to, if you're gonna fall from the ski lift, that's probably the best way, because it started to kind of gradually fall, so she got a little and then a little closer. Yeah,
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, me neither. I probably
I was like, I don't think
I would have been too afraid to rock it. And then so on the way, she's on the ground, she kind of glides to the road on her belly. On her way, she sees Joe has been killed by the wolves, and then she eventually collapses on the side of the road, where a passerby sees her and saves her. Yeah,
I have to ask this, and it's pretty morbid. Did anyone else here think at the very end she was gonna get hit by the car? I hadn't seen the film in years.
That would have been so shitty.
And I was like, oh my god. But it would have been a really good ending. Would it not? And then it would have been this whole mystery, because there's so many mysteries to do with the cold, and people act very strange when they have hypothermia. True. And you guys, there's so many different things like Devil's Pass and stuff about people taking their clothes off, and why did this happen? Everyone's like, it's aliens. And they're like, how did she get onto the road with one ski in frostbite? And then man, there's a lot going on there.
God damn. God damn. Okay,
yes, thank you, everyone in the comments. You sickos.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Yeah, I really don't know. Let's see. Do you want to talk about the language, because I feel like we both have some good kind of examples of this.
Definitely. So I guess my big thing with watching this was more of the language, and it was definitely a throwback watching a 2010s film and how they present teens. It's really interesting because we just don't have this simplicity in films anymore, where they just let it go rampant with dialogue that is very teen heavy. Even if they did Gen Z or whatever now, it's got to be in a funky situation. It's never a simple situation where they just let them riff. Not that this is riffing by any means, but it's a very simple film in terms of that. And a lot of it's got to do with the build-up of the character. But what I don't understand is, because in films from this period, and especially 2000 to 2010, and a little bit obviously beyond, there is always they try and demonize, I guess, or try and put a bad light on some of the characters by making them act like arsehole teenagers. Yeah. And there was really no point to that for this film, because it had nothing to do really with how it came together in the end. And I'm saying that Vicky's got some points, which I don't really agree with, Vicky, but we'll talk about it. We've got some points with the more of the interpersonal stuff, but the main kid, well, not the main kid, the friend, sorry, I forgot, I'm blanking his name, I should have it up. But
Joe?
Joe?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Well, they call him like Lynch throughout the movie, but it's
okay.
Yeah.
He's kind of like trying to get someone's number. He's talking about like, you know, like how slick he is and you want to beat this guy up. But then there's also like just some random slurs put in there. They use the R word. And although I don't even know how to say this, it was acceptable like in a script at the time. Was it? No. But
yeah. No, but yes.
No, but it was common.
Nobody was calling it out and saying like you can't say this. Yeah.
Yes, it was very common in scripts. And it just made me think, because there wasn't much controversy in this film. I kept thinking about, so why are we trying to put it in there? And not that they're trying to, but I thought this was opening up to a bigger conversation where although that there's tension and the way they talk to each other can be rude, and obviously that, you know, this whole thing happens with grief at the time as well, which has a lot to do with the way that they're talking about each other and to each other. And obviously there's a lot of misogyny going on there in terms of like their language and the teenage, you know, the teenage of it all, the 2010s of it all. But I wanted to know how this affected you guys in the chat, and obviously as well as Vicky. How does it affect your viewing when you go back and you watch a film? And I know obviously the 70s is rampant, especially for horror, which is one of the things that kind of deter me from relating to a lot of those films. They use like actual slurs a lot. Not saying obviously the R word is, but in these films, I feel like it's just the language that is quite intense, and just there's no reason to it, instead of like being a cheap way to like make someone look nasty. But in this film, it didn't make any sense why they did that, because I personally think that they all kind of come out of it just being teens that were in a really bad situation.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really make much sense why they had to like start throwing around that kind of language. But the best example, and I want to put this in here because I don't think Vicky and I will ever do this for Adults Revenge. I was like, you know what? I can probably do this. The best example of this happening in a film of this decade is the one in Freddy versus Jason. I'm sure you guys know that they put in this line, and it's fucking Kelly Rowlands, which is so, it hurts my soul. Why did she say it? She says a line to Freddy. I don't really want to repeat it, but she says a line. She says a slur to him. She says the F slur to him. She calls him it because of his sweater. The dumbest thing I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Yeah.
But it also, the reason I brought this up is because I was thinking about that language and that. And then I came across this article, and it basically says that the writers of that film did not put that in there. And they won't name who put it in there. And they hated that line. And they wanted it to be taken out on the first screening they had. I guess the first edit screening they had. And they said it put a stain on the film. Could you imagine writing a film and then one line, like changing how everyone saw the film? And you are the writer. These are co-writers. They both said that they didn't put it in there. Who the frick said that line? I know that has nothing to do with it, but it just makes me think about when you watch something and if that changes your perspective, or if you're able to go, okay, well, it's a product of its time, which we all have to do to some extent all the time. That is just, unfortunately, you know, we got to pick our battles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just curious on what you thought about that, Vicky.
Yeah, I think it like it usually like jolts me a little bit, because like obviously watching more modern movies, you don't hear it anymore. So it's like, and it's not something like I don't hang out with people that would use that, use that language anymore. I know it's the same with you, that you wouldn't either. So it's like, you don't hear these things anymore. So like when I do hear it like that in regular dialogue, it kind of like, it does take me out of it for a second, where I'm just like, I think like my ultimate feeling is that it just dates the movie, and it's just like an unfortunate, like, fuck, we have to, that has to be in there. I think that's a little wild. I don't know how much I believe that like they won't say who put it in the movie. Like, how old is that movie? Like, come on, just say who fucking put it in the movie.
Yeah,
like,
but who would have told Kelly Rowlands to say that though?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like, was it just like a random like producer on set? Like who? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope it wasn't like
Yeah.
ad-libbed by her or anything like that.
That's
Like,
so
you know what I
fucking
mean?
rotten. Like,
But that's like, who else would have done it?
yeah, no, I saw someone else say that, and I was like, she wouldn't have. And then you're right, though. Maybe they were just saying lines, especially because it's basically when she's going off at him and trying to like take him away from other people, and like in the middle of a battle. So I can understand those are I mean, this is all alleged, obviously, but these are technically the ad lib scenes where they go off, and if they're trying to kind of to see what sticks hard. But I still feel like someone off the side might have say something like this, and they're trying to get a couple of lines. I don't know. Who knows? And I imagine being the writer, though, and being so shocked when you saw that in the edit.
That's so
I would have
weird.
demanded. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Hollywood is freaking hard, and who knows like what power anyone has. But I do actually hear the F slur a lot in modern film. And first thing I do is look up the director. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, why are you saying this? But it is used a lot.
I think that's important too when thinking about it. Like, if it is a more modern one, like at this point where it's just like, we fully know, like everybody knows that you shouldn't use it anymore. So looking at the context of it, like who's making the movie, who's writing the movie, what, I think sometimes that's important.
Yeah.
I think that came up a lot with the movie I thought of when you brought up was Dinner in America.
Oh, yeah.
Where a lot of people were talking about, like, especially the beginning of that movie, like it lays it on so thick. And then like the argument some people were making, I was like, well, it makes sense for the character and blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, but who's making the movie? Like, is
that technically a horror? We should cover that if it is.
I mean, I thought
no, it's not really.
It's for her, but no, it's not.
I'm just saying. I just saw before I saw it, I saw like all my friends who like on Letterboxd, people I follow here, like viewing it. So I was like, wait a minute, is that no? It's not technically.
It would be honestly.
I was like, that would be a good one.
It would be perfect for Does This Offend You? But it's not a horror movie. Like there's so much material in that. That was the first thing because that's a more modern one. But like my first thought is like, who's making it? Like, is it really adding to this character? So every time I hear it, that's what I think. Like, is it really important to use this like term from like a bygone era, like thing that people used to say? Because I would hear it like in high school all the time. Like I graduated in 2010, so like you would hear people say that all the time, unfortunately.
That's see, the film I'm thinking of like that was very recent is Nora. They use it in that, and I'm like,
okay,
and it's like
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's one of those moments I was like, what?
Is that set in like, is Nora set like today or is it
modern.
like
it's 100% modern? But Dinner in America, I feel like, I mean, we're not going to get it topic. That film is different. Like for me, I mean, there's a lot of things that grate me about that film. Don't get me wrong. But for me, I feel like that film is set up in a way that it is intended to piss you off, and that's like the whole premise of it. So I don't know, it's hard. And then also like who it's directed to and who I guess the intent is like all about the intent. They should have to do a form. I feel like that's what they should do when they're on the movie. If there is a word that's located on this list, they just one form. I'm not even saying they have to fucking jump through hoops. Just do a form, just intent. And then anyone who wants to can look up what the director said about the intent of that. Yeah. Of them using it in that little thing. I think that would be great.
Yeah, because most of the time, like any like explanation as to like why it was important to use that word, like I've not heard anything convincing for most. You know what I mean? Like for most things, like why was it really important that we use that word? It's like you could have just done it without it, and you can convey the same message. But I think you're right. Like, I think it's especially used to make a character look bad, but it's not needed in this movie.
Yeah. Like I just again, this was reaching definitely for this film, but just one of my notes that I first wrote down was like the language, and especially when the R word came up, I was like, why are we? But again, product of its time. Not that makes it any better, but it was more used then. I don't know. It's one of those weird things that it takes you out, and that's what it made me more think about the conversation about when you watch a film that is dated, how you feel, not really about their intent now for that.
Yeah, true.
I'm sorry. I'm just looking up quickly. I'll look it up again later, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure she does say the F word in that. So I could be wrong. Yeah, no, it has it
In
there.
Freddy versus Jason?
No, sorry, Nora.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, she definitely does.
No, definitely. No.
Oh, no, Nora.
Yes.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I was double checking because I just remember being in the cinema and going, oh. But that was my choice, by the way.
Anytime it happens, it's like it takes out. I remember one last quick tangent when they did the anniversary of Shaun of the Dead in theaters, and Nick Frost's character drops the N-word.
Oh shit! I didn't know.
I forgot that was in the movie too, and legitimately,
no
like the whole theater, like all my friends, we all were like, like we like.
Oh my god! I had no idea. See, that's interesting that you can completely gloss over that. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely films like that.
Yeah.
That you.
Like, yeah.
I mean, it's
everyone kind of started like, oh, like.
It's in Mean Girls as well, so like that's a huge thing in that. Yeah.
Like, goddamn.
Yeah. It's a very interesting conversation. I feel like. But I'd love to hear any feedback that you guys have in the chat. I don't know if anyone 100%. Had. Puts a harsh
Rob
edge
said, oh, is that why people had a problem with dinner in America?
I think there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
We can break it down, don't we?
I mean,
but a lot of people love that film too. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, it went so viral on the soon to be banned TikTok.
Yeah, and you have to wonder if it would have the same amount of harshness and edge and all that if the language was toned down or changed, and if that's possible, if you can do filler words for those kinds of things.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a lot, isn't it? Loch Ness VHS. We looked at the same one.
Yeah. Cute. I was in high school in the 90s. Language was rough. It makes me think about how far we've come in my lifetime. That's true.
Oh yeah, me too. God, I think about that all the time.
But I wonder if there's like, I don't know if there's anybody here that could like speak to this age wise. I wonder if there's anything like kids or younger people now say, you know what I mean? Like the R slur was very prevalent like when I was in high school. I wonder if there's anything now that
there is. Well, I think it might have been a location thing as well, that there's an S word that is here and in the UK. It's not like, I don't know if it's a slur, but it's hard language, and it was in a Lizzo song, if you know what I'm talking about, and they took it out.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we don't say that because that's like literally connected to a longer word. And I know in America people use that word freely, but it's also like the C word, I guess. I don't think it's a slur, but the C word, a lot of people like reclaiming that and changing that.
Okay, I remember that.
So it's interesting with that as well, because there are words, especially, under the LGBT bracket, that people are taking and changing, and language can be changed. So
language can
cool
be changed. Yeah, that is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
So yeah, and I do think that there's always going to be things that change and things that become unacceptable, and we've seen that through our time. So why would that not carry on? Definitely. Yeah. Cool, guys. Great conversation. Very lighthearted conversation, guys. It's good to talk about these things. This is what I like about this show, is that we talk about the things people don't talk about, because it's just it feels, but it's nice to do it in an open, friendly environment. That's what I'm all about. Like, that's why we're here, guys.
Yeah. Well, on the internet, it could be scary to broach that topic because you never know who's gonna like pop in and
I think
an asshole,
this is a safe place.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's nice to have a place to do that.
Yeah, and we got to build that place, guys. So
yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Great, that's our show. All right. Okay.
Where are we going from here?
Is this in my notes? Is this what you disagree with? Should I get into that?
Sorry, I want to hear your take, and then I mean, I don't necessarily disagree.
Oh, okay. I don't. It's fine if you do. I was just, you know what I mean? When we're watching this, like, I'm like, I got to find something. So I'm like,
no,
I could read the movie this way.
For sure.
Like, I don't even fully agree with this.
No, took that down now. Girl, you wrote it.
I wrote it. Yeah. No. We're gonna read it out.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Sounds so much more controversial than it is.
Yeah, I'm like, so Parker in the movie. If I wanted to reach and make an argument, I think there could be like an argument made for like Parker gets the brunt of like some of like the worst, like, or at least okay, let me rephrase. It's like the way the movie frames it makes it seem like the worst thing. Like, I know you put a specific thing in your notes, and that's one of my examples, something that happens to Parker. The way it's framed makes it seem like it's so much like about her in the movie. I feel like they really put her through it. Like, obviously they kind of make her the final girl, and it almost like reads as a punishment, like with the setup between the characters that happen. So like before, you know, in the intro to the movie, there's like multiple conversations about how skiing is like bro time, and like I mentioned before, Joe is kind of like, or Lynch, she like feels some type of way about Parker being there, like he's a little butthurt about it, that she's like intruding. And Joe also blames her for being stuck on the lift in the first place, you know, like in like a heat of the argument, like when they're, you know, tough situation.
Blaming.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of blaming being thrown around. But he tells her, like, since they spent the entire day like going down the bunny hill or whatever, that they, you know, they didn't have time to do like the harder one, and that's why they're stuck, even though she offered to stay behind earlier and like let them go. She's like, you can go. And then he has a whole like turnaround where he's like, no, it's fine, you're getting better. And I'm like, okay, well. But then like I feel like we just see all this horrible shit happen to her. Like, she gets frostbite first, like it happens, and we have like that horrible scene where she like scratches at it and her skin comes off.
You're not meant to do it with the frostbite. How does that work?
Not meant to scratch it. I don't know. I've never gotten frostbite. I live in Florida.
Like, the way it grew, and then she had like green coming out of her skin. I was like, what is that?
It looked like I don't know, like it was like her skin was like scabbing, and
like, it's interesting. I don't know how that works.
I've never been in danger of having frostbite, so I'm not sure. That is not a reality for me. The moment where she's like when they've woken up from sleeping and her hand has frozen to the pole, and she like,
that's horrid,
peels it off, and like basically her hand is like stuck on. It's awful.
And isn't that such like a woman moment where he's like, are you all right? And she's like, I'm fine.
Yeah. She like tries to hide it.
She's like, I'm not like, instead of saying ouch.
Well, I think if I'm gonna read into the movies, because Lynch was being such an asshole to her about blaming her, so it's like the last thing she wants to do is like whine about more stuff. And then you mentioned it too, like the moment in your notes where she pees, like she's had to pee, and she eventually pees.
I have so many problems with this pee.
But and I'll let you. But I think it's good. You're right, though. They like make it so emotional.
They have the sad music, and she's like peeing. She's like, go. I thought he was going to pretend to be asleep as well. Did you see? Because they were like,
that's
focusing.
What I thought too. And I was like,
I thought he was trying to give her dignity back. You know?
Yeah, I was telling you, like in the DMs, like I always forget like the whole half of this movie. Like when I start watching it, I'm like, I don't remember how they get down. I don't remember. You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't either. I don't remember any of it.
I just remember,
to be honest, I found this way more horrific than the other film, which I did not expect.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I feel like there's a lot more going on with like the cold. Like it adds another element than just more real, being high up. Yeah. And something that could happen like on accident versus like purposefully climbing up. You know what I mean? Most of us logical people be like, I'm not doing that. So but more of us might get on a ski lift. I don't know. Not me, but
never say never, girl.
I guess that's true. But I just felt like it was like, you know, more than anything, I'm just reaching for something to talk about here. It's commonplace, I feel like, in horror to make women the center of the movie, the center of the violence, give them something like horrific to be put through, so that, you know, like emotionally and physically, so they come out of it, and it's like,
because they're the delicate snowflake, and then they get in the situation and everyone else crumbles, but they survive. And
then she pulls through, even though she spends the first half of the movie crying, and it's like, okay, we're gonna have this moment where she makes it through. She cries about her puppy, which got me so good this time. I was crying.
I actually fucking hate that, but we'll get into that when I talk about. I actually think that's so manipulative, but it is sad, because I was like, I don't want to think about that. That was a really good psychological little trick they played on us,
and it was a good one that didn't like involve like actually seeing a dog dying or like a
crying.
I cried watching that when she goes. I'm like, oh no. I was like, wait. was like, that's so sad. And I was like, I don't.
It is super
like,
sad. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's awful. Yeah. It's like
I
the
thought it
worst
was
thing you can think about.
Yeah,
honestly.
I thought it was like
It
a good
is.
emotional moment that, you know, not instead of like a cheap, like, you know, when you see a dog in a horror movie, it's gonna die for like a cheap, you know, gimme. But that was like a really realistic one where I was like, oh fuck. Something you don't think about when you watch these people dying in horror movies.
That they have lives outside of the situation. Yeah. What did Jaws? Did Jigsaw? I'm gonna bring up Jigsaw again later. But did Jigsaw make sure every time he captured someone from their house that their pet has been fed? Is my question to the Saw franchise.
Next on Does Suspend You.
Put out some cat food. I'm coming for Jigsaw, I swear to God. Yeah. Anyway,
that was really my whole point. I was reaching for something. So like Parker being the focus, she gets blamed and then she gets put through all this shit.
Yeah. Well, it is reaching.
It is.
No. The thing is, I very much more than ever, I do appreciate everyone's different interpretation of film, and no one's right, no one's wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah. It is what it is. And even if they have the intent of putting whatever they put out on the screen, however you take it, it's art. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I like this film because it's so simple, and that's why I had to read into the language.
Yeah.
I actually think that all of the characters are really well explained in this film. If I wanted to reach, Vicky, I could give you a interpretation that maybe they were up there on them. You know, maybe there was a little bit of love going on there, and maybe the boys just want to be alone. Also, that's an extreme reach, but also
it's true.
These two men, they had already organized this trip. And I would be, Vicky, if you and I were going out and we were going to go on the slopes, and then your damn girlfriend came along who only did the fucking bunny hops or whatever the fuck it is. I don't even know what it is. I don't ski. I'd be pissed, girl. I'd be like, yeah, bitch, sit down. Let me in, Vicky. Yap. And we'll come for you later. But I feel... No, but I do feel like it was. She did hijack the trip, but we
don't know that.
Well, no, they said
we don't know. We don't know the context. We didn't see before.
But they say that they were on the trip. You didn't have to invite her, and you know.
Yeah, so that's like Dan's fault for inviting.
Yeah,
Parker's fault for agreeing to come along.
No, I'm not saying it's Dan's fault. I'm just saying it from I'm just saying it from the friend's point of view of the guy.
Okay,
He'd be pissed. Sorry, I'm not trying to blame it on the girl. You're right. It is the boyfriend. But I do think that there is reasons that they make that angsty, you know, thing, you know, the tension. Yeah. And then when they're put on that ski lift, when they're put on the chair and, you know, he dies. Oh my God. Is that the most horrendous thing you've ever seen? Why would you fall? Not that I am the expert on fall. Why would you fall feet first like that? That is the most tuck, dude. Tuck your legs like this. Oh my God, what a psycho.
The thing is, when the shot when he first jumps off, he is like going like butt first. Yeah. So you're like, okay.
And then he's like,
all of a sudden the shot is like
it is so bad. It's so bad. And he's so like, they're like, are you all right? He's like, ah. No sad music, no nothing. He doesn't get the pee treatment, no nothing. And the thing is, okay, after he is torn apart, it's a horrific scene. Obviously, no sad music there, which was my point with the pee. This guy gets torn apart by wolves while his best friend and his girlfriend watch. And no sad music afterwards. We just cut to them just like sitting there. Okay, and then the blame game comes in. Yeah. And these are, again, people dealing with grief in different ways. But I do feel they have like he blames her, which is awful. But later they kind of explain where he talks about the day he first met him when they're in like kindergarten or whatever. After they had fought, they do come together and like cuddle. And I do feel like it was it's anger and it's just such a tension situation. I don't blame him. Like, I just feel it's awful. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel like she knows as well that he's just gone through it, you know?
Oh, and yeah, for sure.
They come together in the end. And I think that it was actually meant to show that their love for him. And I don't know. I just don't feel like there was any bad blood there at the end of the day. That's really weird to say. And
no, you're right. Yeah,
I
it's like heightened emotions. It's very traumatic. So of course you're gonna like lash out.
Yeah, and for like a teen what, I don't know how old these guys are meant to be, either 30 or 14. I can't tell the difference in these movies. In a teen movie like this, usually there's so much more like, you know, distrust and all this between them, that I actually felt like they kept it, the friendship pretty calm and cool, and it was all like love at the end, torn apart by wolves, all love. Yeah, so as much as like, I guess we have to reach somewhere, there's definitely some comments, and I think it was like more funny seeing him trying to get that girl's number and all that kind of stuff. It kind of made me, it softened me to him, because he was just like, you guys help me out, remember her number, and they remember. And I just felt like it was, I don't know, I felt like it was like a cute little friendship movie, guys. Sweet movie.
I think it speaks to their like maturity. So I think it definitely reminds you that they're younger, because he like the way, like especially the way he's like flipping through the emotions. Like first he's annoyed at her, then he's like okay with her and chatting with her and stuff, and it's like very immature. So it just reminds you that they're young.
Yeah, and I wish that they did do the eye opening when she was peeing, because that would have shown that he was trying to give her some dignity while she was, you know. We need to talk about the peeing though. How the hell did she get on the chairlift? She says, I need a pee so bad. The first thing she says. And then 2 days later she pees. Like, how long after that? That was after the Wolves tour. Girl, get your coochie out. Papa squat. As we say in Australia, Papa squat. And it's funny because he's able to, he does it at the start, and no sad music for him. Not that, you know, it's fine. I know it's a little bit easier for him, obviously. But it was just really interesting how they like changed that role. Yeah. I'm not normally on the dude's side, don't get me wrong. It's just here, I was like, I don't know if I've watched so many toxic movies with this kind of character that it kind of was like, and you know, maybe that's it. You know, the bar is so low.
It's in hell.
Maybe that's it. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of sweet that they were all trying to save it in their own way. They all just got it so fucking wrong. You know what? They should have just come together and actually made a plan instead of like doing the, okay, you know what? Like on the hour, okay, I'm going to do this now. Like, why are we not talking about the plan for 45 minutes before we're like carrying it out within 5 seconds? Do they really say that in Oz? Yes, we do. Papa squat. That's what it's called. Do you guys say that? I don't know if you guys say that.
Papa squat? Yeah. But it's, well, is that no. I think context might be different, because you're saying that for going to the bathroom.
Yes.
Specifically. No, I feel like the more often when I hear it just means like take a seat.
Oh, like, if you told me to do that in your house, it'd be very different.
Well, that's why this show is so important, you guys.
Don't invite me over and ask me to pop a squat.
I can say I don't use that in my language. That's like my parents' language. You know what I mean? Like, you know, hey, kiddo, pop a squat. Like,
choo choo. What the heck? What is that, Loch Ness? I've never heard of this. Rob and I are from very different places in Australia. This is maybe Darwin speak, to be honest. Des will have to let us know if Des is still here, if they say it on their side. Anyway, I felt like there were, I guess maybe after I watched Frozen, after I watched The Fall, I think you did in the same order. Did you do it in the same order? Yeah. And I felt like there was so much more blaming and thing, where here it did feel like just an accident. It was an accident. True. And they shouldn't have blamed each other. But honestly, under that tension, depends how well you know the person. I'd be like, why are we even up here? You know,
I would have too.
Yeah. And that's what makes this movie so good, that it's no one's real fault, and that it's such a complicated situation to how they get up there as well, because they've like bribed this guy basically to get up that lift, and then he exchanged with someone else who exchanges with someone else. So it's not even like a one person, something was accidentally. Yeah. So I think that's really interesting. Sure. I have heard of Papa Squat. Okay, cool. There you go. It's confusing because I'm from where Des is from, but then I'm from somewhere else, and then I'm from here as well. I'm all over the place. I don't know what language.
The moral of the story is be careful who you say Papa Squat to, because you don't know.
I will Papa Squat.
Next time we see each other in person, the first thing I'm like, Papa Squat.
I can Papa Squat on command, guys. Oh God. Why do I do this to myself? Okay.
That's so funny though.
Yeah. So I see the reaching. Should we talk about the animals?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it. I want to hear what, like, I really appreciate your comments on this. I'm going to say mine real quick because we've kind of already touched on them anyway. I just made a connection, as we do, we reach, made the connection between one of the, I think it's the first run they do is called the Black Dog Trail. And honestly, it's because I was trying to look up what she said about the dog to find the script part, and I couldn't find it. But I Googled, and I Controlled F, and dog came up, and I was like, oh shit, that's one of the trails was called the Black Dog Trail, which is so interesting. So picture this. This is like how we see animals different in different circumstances. It's called the Black Dog Trail. It has nothing to do with anything. I just thought it was funny. So we get Dan, the boyfriend, completely torn, boyfriend and best friend, torn apart by wolves, like literally in front of them. It's the most horrific scene that he's like, cover her eyes, cover, and his legs are broken. Ugh. Oh my God. Honestly, that is horrendous. Absolutely disgusting. And doesn't get any sad music. And not the P music. And then straight afterwards, well, not straight afterwards. No, was that before? No, it was after, because he's consoling her, the best friend. And then she tells the story about her dog at home and how no one's going to feed it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be barking. And he's like, don't worry, someone will hear it barking, someone will figure it out, someone will go get it.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was really interesting, like the switch. I know this is reaching, guys, but I just thought it was really interesting, the switch between how we use animals as plot devices in films. It's like we always talk about in horror movies, how 1 second it's like they're these demon animals, even though they're in their like natural environment and you're literally there. Like you have gone to the place they have been for, I don't even know how many years, but they've been there for a long time. And then we talk about them to use them to soften the audience and also to bring those characters together as a plot device to be like, okay, he's trying to like console her and be like, it's going to be okay, even though it clearly was not. And it worked on you. I mean, who wants to hear about, God forbid, guys, I know everyone in the chat doesn't want to hear this either. Like, who wants to hear about a dog like waiting, scratching? That's the saddest thing you could ever hear. A dog scratching and waiting at the door going, where is my owner? Like, where's my best? Oh my God, I cannot.
Yeah.
Where is my best friend? They don't understand. So it's very interesting. Just like your boyfriend's torn apart by wolves, not dogs, but wolves. And then like just to the next scene is like, and then the innocent one, the innocent dog,
who's hungry, the domesticated dog.
Yeah, the domesticated dog who's hungry as well. So the wolves feast, and then I just thought it was really interesting.
It is, yeah. It's like our perception of different animals, even though they're very similar. Yeah, definitely different, very similar.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, so this is I have like 2 soapboxes about animals because there's also some vicious animals in both of these. Just personal context, like the animal like attack movies, like when it's like a legit animal, not like a monster or something, but animal attack movies are just like they're kind of like the one thing I can't suspend my disbelief fully for. You know what I mean? Like I can't help but just be like that asshole that's like, well, this animal wouldn't really act like this, blah 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 blah. So immediately when I see it,
it depends on the animal, to be fair.
Sure.
For the most part. I have a very unique perspective about this because I'm from Australia and you're scared of spiders, girl.
Yeah.
And I'm not, because I know they're not going to harm you. See how that works? And also like Cujo and stuff. I've been attacked by a dog that jumped out of a car.
Yeah, it's all perspective. Yeah.
So it's like, it's interesting because it's, I don't know. I get what you're saying and I know where you're going with this and I absolutely love it. But I do think that it does make sense in some regards as being a horrific, because people are scared of spiders.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is, like, mine's an irrational fear, and I know it is. Like, do I think that spider is really gonna hurt me? No, I'm just scared of it.
Oh, well, that's good. Most people don't see that far. Most people say bugs, that's gonna kill me.
Yeah, no. I don't think they're gonna hurt me. Like, I've legitimately screamed so loud at a spider, I've seen it like run in the other direction. Like,
that's actually adorable.
And then I like, once I get over my like fear, I kind of feel bad.
It's like Enemies to Friends. You should write that as a book. Enemies to Friends. That would be such a good horror movie.
Like, I fully get that they're like, I'm a giant to them. They're scared of me. But I just have to like, I feel like the use of the wolves in the movie, I think your like what you said was like reaching perspective makes the wolves like a little bit more meaningful in the movie, to where I'm like, okay, like if I think about it that way, I can kind of see like,
if you pretend like it has something to do with the black dog.
Yeah, but if we like set it against the other dog that's mentioned in the movie, it like makes a little bit more sense. But I feel like personally, I feel like the wolves are just in there as like a plot device to keep them on that chair for longer, because like in reality, like they would get down like a lot easier, and Dan could have dragged himself, or Joe probably would have tried to like climb down the wire and the pole faster had the wolves not been there. I just feel like they're not set up anywhere else in the movie. So like once Dan falls and he's there with his broken legs, it's like, what draws them out? Like the blood, the screaming. And also it's just, of course I had to Google just to make sure, because I'm like, is this like a thing? Are they known to do this? Wolves are not like, they're not gonna they're not just gonna attack like just a human. Sit there,
they're
like,
also waiting. They're like waiting underneath, like with their mouth open, like
it's like they're very aware, like they're like, ooh, dinner is here. Like they just don't typically attack humans like that, even injured ones, without being prompted. So it's like, and the kids don't start like antagonizing them until they kind of start to already approach Dan. You know what I mean? It's not like they see a wolf and they throw a rock at it earlier and then they come back for revenge. So just kind of sucking the fun out of it a little bit. Just seems really unlikely that they would do that. I also am kind of just calling into question, I know they're on a mountain, like, and that is their territory. I just feel like they wouldn't be so near like a area that's been so developed by humans. Like they wouldn't hang out there as much because there's a lot of noise and people around those parts. So it's like, it's just weird to me that like all of a sudden they just show up as a like scary.
Especially when they're like waiting and they're like coming back, because if they're aware that people go up and down that, they would probably stay away from that, which is why they're in the wooded area. So then why are they coming back? It's literally like the I'm thinking about the alligator with its like mouth open in like Peter Pan. Like they're literally like
just waiting. And I'm like, and the only reason I bring it up is because there are instances, you know, movies have a lot of positive effects. Movies can have a lot of negative effects. There are instances where an interpretation, like a presentation of an animal, which is, you know, in a fictional movie, heightened, hyperbolized, spreads misinformation and spreads unnecessary fear about animals, which in some cases can lead to direct negative impacts on the animals.
Bad press.
An example is Jaws, which did directly lead to a decrease in shark population.
Love this. Yes. And I love that point. That is such a great point.
And luckily, I don't think Frozen had the same impact. I could not. So that's good.
I don't think that's what people took away from it.
Yeah, so that's good. But yeah, I can.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, it's very interesting. And you know what? When you're describing that, all I can think about is how similar that is to what happens in The Fall as well. It's like another connection. They also put the animal in the situation that doesn't make that one doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so I think it's an interesting point. And I do love, I don't think we've done Jaws, but I do love, maybe we should do a classic thing as well. I like the classic, throwback to some classic. We could do The Shining and Jaws or something like that.
I think we might have.
But yeah, I think, have we done The Shining? I feel like
we read the book.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did we? Okay, cool.
We did.
I was like, wow, I have so much to talk about in The Shining. But yes, I totally agree with the shark PR.
Yeah.
Obviously that's a huge effect in California, but also in Australia, that's a huge thing as well. It's very sad. But that's also how I feel about like spiders and stuff. That's why I brought that up, because that's how I feel like they give bad press. You guys.
Yeah.
But like if I see this is going to sound so weird to some of you guys, but if I see a spider in my house, I'd leave it, because spiders eat bugs. I don't know if you guys think there's like spiders on my walls. Like I like spiders so much. They're so good for the natural environment. And I'm sure people know if you remove a spider from your house, it basically dies. Because it's So me starts crying about spiders. So yeah, bad press in horror does that. Horror demonizes a lot of things.
Yeah. And not everybody thinks like that. Like, I'm fully aware that like spiders are useful, and my fear is irrational. And if I really can, try not to kill them, and like please somebody just
I know you're not out here stomping them.
Yeah. That would require me to get close to them. So that's the benefit for me, is like if I gotta kill it, I gotta get close to it, which I'm not gonna do.
Thank you so much, Gibi.
Thank you
for your nightmare fuel. Gibi, are you a spider? Is a spider trying to make contact?
They
with
left
Vicky?
a sticker and I can't read what it says.
Oh no! Wait, I'll pull it up. Oh, it's a little doggy saying.
I'm trying to read the
number
sign.
1.
Oh, okay, just number 1. Okay.
I think
like I have these glasses; they don't do anything.
But that's a great point. It's a very great point. But yeah, I think in Frozen, I think they do have the wolves on the poster. But yeah, not as bad press. Who knows if it would have blown up, if it would have been any different. But I think because it's such a particular circumstance as well, it's not like just going to the beach. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's a good point.
For
sure.
Yeah. And that was my vegan soapbox.
I love it. Wait, did you say you had 2 soapboxes, or was
I do have one for fall? Yeah, it's we're talking about
it's in fall. Okay.
Yeah, it's in fall.
Is there anything else that we didn't do?
I got all my
I think I got it. Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah.
Language, reaching about the emotional music. I kind of put that in there.
Yeah.
I just didn't like this. I get that it was like a point of like dignity and all that kind of stuff with her peeing, but it was just like so far gone. Like someone's legs have already been snapped off. Like the dignity is gone, girl. Like it's gone. Like if they had done that at the start and she was really upset and her boyfriend and him were in there, and that was like, it just didn't seem to flow. Like flowing. It just didn't seem to flow with the thing. If she was having a fight with them and then they were fighting back with her and then she had to do that in front of them, I could understand. But at this point, like people's legs have been snapped off. People have been dragged away by wolves. And yeah, I don't know. I will say a totally personal note, but I've been into snow, like I'd been in Switzerland and stuff like that, but I hadn't been in proper like skiing snow. And I only just did that in December. I went to Japan. So I felt like I had a newfound respect for this film. Because one time I sat on my, I went to a park and I had nowhere to sit and I was scared my bum was going to get stuck to the park bench. So I sat on my mitten and then I had to pull the mitten off the park bench and I lost half the mitten. And I just felt like that girl in that moment.
Oh my God.
No, my mitten wasn't on my hand. I'm just making a joke about how hard it was to sit on a mitten. But I love that I could feel the cold for once. I guess it's hard to relate. Like Vicky, you live in some, I guess it's more human than where I am, but you live in somewhere that's, warm as well. And sometimes it's hard when you watch these things. You're like, okay, feeling real bad for you.
I really can't comprehend how cold that is. Like I physically can't. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw The Lodge at an outdoor cinema here during summer. And we were sweating in beanbags watching The Lodge. And she's literally like freezing. And I'm like, girl, I wish I was you right now. Like you can't even. So I thought it was really cool to see something to actually understand a little bit more of context. Nice. I guess. Next time you're gonna watch it. I relate
to you, girl.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah. I really want to do that. Go and watch movies like that in the actual environment they're intended to be in.
Oh yeah.
Feel
like
a 4D experience.
There's always that picture going back to Jaws. People share a picture like screenings like on lakes and stuff. Yeah. So people are on like inner tubes watching it. Like that's pretty
very
cool.
Rad. Yeah, I think they've done that here, but just in like wave pools, if that makes sense, in Australia.
That's cool.
But yeah, I love that because then you're like something's underneath, and someone's definitely gonna prank.
Oh yeah.
That's fun. We should do that, guys. All of us. Let's go to a pool party. No, half these freaks would pee in the pool. I know it. Looking at you, Rob.
I'm gonna say Papa Squat, and then half of them are gonna pee.
Someone says it, and it all just turns yellow. Okay.
Did
we get off topic?
Oh, only a couple times. We're fine. All right. So, did this movie offend you? Are you offended? by
not me.
Frozen. I don't know. You seem really offended by that pee scene, though. So I don't know.
Definitely reaching. I think that there was more I was reaching for because there was nothing. The R word definitely not great.
That's really like the worst thing about the movie.
And
like,
really unnecessary, didn't change anything. It wasn't even trying to make him look like an asshole. It was just stupid. It was just a stupid part of dialogue. So I actually really enjoyed this film going back. I nearly gave it a 7. I gave it a 6, but I nearly gave it a 7. I actually think it's a really solid film. It's so simple, but so effective.
Really
I was
simple.
scared as hell. And I watch a lot of disturbing movies. And honestly, I feel like this could go into a disturbing movie list because the way that guy falls and what happens to him and what you see is so insane. And I also want to say, when we talk about the fall in comparison, this film is it's all real, the way it's set up and how they film it. From my understanding, they film it on location. They shut it down. They could only afford the light for 4 of those chair lifts. Like they could only afford to turn the lights on and light that area. And even some of the shots that some of the crew didn't want to get because it was unsafe. Like I believe it was like the main like DOP and director got up there and shot them themselves. I just think it's not that we love when people are unsafe on set. I just thought it was like a really cool, simple film. And I just love simple horror that really is effective. And I guess even when we talk about the dog scene and like her talking about that's such an effective piece of dialogue. And I love that's like movie magic to me because that's like the way that they can psychologically do that without even showing anything. I love it. They didn't do any flashbacks or anything unnecessary. They just kept it to. And I think it's really effective. Anyway. That wasn't Vicky's like, didn't ask for your praise of the movie. She asked if I was offended by the movie. Vicky, were you offended?
No. No, was not. Like I said, most of the time, every time I rewatch it, like I forget a little bit. Like I forget like half of the movie, so it's almost like watching it again for the first time.
I felt like that too.
Like I was kind of forget it exists, but I think it's kind of, I don't know, maybe it's the name. Maybe just every time somebody says Frozen, now we think about the Disney movie, or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but
I just think it's so effective.
Yeah, so it's always nice. Like I forget like everything after Dan jumps off the lift. So I'm like, so it's like watching it new again. I'm like, oh yeah, this happens. Oh yeah, this happens. So
I didn't even remember anyone jumping or anything. I just remembered like the situation that they were stuck on the stair, and the stair. Not getting stuck on the. What was I thinking? I was thinking the Stairmaster. I've been there. But and also it really does make you think like, what would you do in this situation? Which I think is really fun.
That's a really good question. Just as we transition to fall, what would you do? Would you jump?
I would.
Let's say like no wolves, so you're just stuck on the lift like that, and nobody's coming for you.
I probably would have. To be honest, I probably would have waited it out. Died.
I mean, honestly, I probably would too. I don't want to jump from heights.
But what I would have done is MacGyver a situation where you get your you would take off your ski or your ski pole and put that over the top of the thing and kind of glide to the next one.
I thought of the same fucking thing.
Or protect your hands somehow. And go to the next one and just keep going until, I don't know if you want to get to the ladder, but I guess you get to the ladder, go down, and then you ski down. That's the only thing I can think of in this situation. It's interesting because we can do this for both films, but I don't know if I would have, if I jumped, I would have tucked.
For sure,
or somehow like at least put some kind of protection on. Like the fact that he just went like that is absolutely crazy. Or just like, had a conversation. Maybe sometimes like it's good to have a conversation and like figure out what everyone knows about fucking physics or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, or the other thing that I don't, this never came up. Why did they not lower him down? So one
like
person's
hang
hold
on,
to the other,
so he gets a little
like a
closer
human
to the
ladder
ground.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't, he probably won't reach the ground from 3 people doing that.
But it's a shorter fall.
Yeah, that's what I didn't get. I was like, why did they not hold on to this, even hold on to his ski and then lower the second person down and then do you know what I mean? MacGyver. What am I meant to say? MacGyver? We're not making fun of accents, Des. Not the Australians turning on me. I don't know. I just feel like we could have done some problem solving for sure.
Oh, for sure.
And it didn't really get that way. I have no idea how it works if the lift is actually connected to that part of does it move like this, or does it move around? Not me doing that sign on the internet. Do you know what I mean? Does it move with the rope going through the thing, or is it attached to that one chairlift? Does the chairlift move with the rope, or does the chairlift move over the rope?
No, I think the on the rope that the chairlifts are stationary, like they're like where they're connected to the rope, like it doesn't slide, it doesn't move, and then just the rope moves, I think.
Yeah,
Like...
so I don't know if we could just like think about that maybe for a minute instead of just jumping. He's like, I'm just gonna jump. I'm gonna jump. And they're like, don't do it. He's like, and he literally does it in like 5 seconds or
he's like they're both telling him not to do it, and then he just does
it. Have a conversation. Yeah, let's have a conversation about it. But you overestimate the amount of strength. Well, I think that they could have tried at least. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with trying the situation. Snap your legs or try. You know what I mean? It's live or die trying.
Yeah, it would take like, I think jumping would be my last resort, but that's because I'm terrified of heights.
That's a good idea. Des, we should go up there and give it a go. Put us in the situation, see what happens. That's called an escape room, I'm pretty sure. But sorry, Vicky, you were saying you wouldn't jump.
That'd be like my last resort.
Yeah.
I think, I would do the similar thing. Like I would try to climb the rope. I did think about like using the skates or the snowboard, like protect your hands and kind of shimmy it down. Or at the very least, like sloth crawl. Like if I could find a way to like wrap my coat around it first. Sloth crawl though, like with my legs, to take some of the pressure off of all of my limbs.
Don't get me wrong, like I don't have any upper body strength at all. Like I don't think I was gonna be able to do that. But I think if you could figure out a way together to be able to
if I'm up there with 2 other people, like lowering people to the ground is the better option. Like
because he just jumps off.
He jumps straight from the top, but if he was lower down, like because she was fine, she still fell, but since it had lowered down a little bit, she was fine.
I just feel like there could have been a different way.
Oh yeah. Anyway. But then as people like to say when we come up with stuff like that, then there wouldn't be a movie, blah, 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 whatever. Like, sure.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, so fall. Fall.
You guys ready? Spoilers.
Lots of spoilers. There's a pretty significant twist in this one. So if you haven't seen it yet, we're definitely going to spoil something big. So Fall came out in 2022, directed by Scott Mann. We follow 2 friends, Becky and Hunter, who reunite a year after Becky's husband tragically died during a mountain climb. I realized in all of my notes, I did not re-look up his name, so I just refer to him as the husband the entire time.
Yeah, me too, actually. It was the guy from Scream.
Yeah, the core 4.
That was my first note. What the heck? When you go back and watch movies and you're like, oh my god, I know this guy now.
Becky's husband tragically died during a mountain climb. Becky is traumatized from the event and hasn't climbed since. And since then, Hunter has started a YouTube channel, fun little where she does dangerous stunts. Hunter convinces Becky to climb up a 2,000 foot, I did look it up in meters for everybody else, about 610 meters tall.
Queen.
Defunct radio tower. When they reach the top, they film some incredibly nerve-wracking content. Becky spreads her husband's ashes. There's, it's a nice moment. And then when they try to go back down, the rusted ladder collapses, stranding them at the top. During this time, Becky realizes a lot of stuff happens, but the important thing is Becky realizes that Hunter was in love with her late husband, and they had a 4-month affair shortly before Becky and him were married. Ouch.
Oh, is that the timeline? I couldn't figure out the timeline. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was trying to remember too. Like, I'm pretty sure it happens after they're stuck up there, I think. But they try to send messages with their phones. Hunter climbs down on a rope to get their backpack that has like their water and things. Lots of stuff happens, trying to get a signal out. I didn't want to list everything, but the important bit is Becky realizes Hunter died trying to get the backpack, and she's been hallucinating her friends since.
Yeah.
Becky manages to finally get a message out through her phone, which we'll get into, I'm sure, by dropping it. I'll just say for now, dropping it from the tower, and is saved.
Yeah. And smash cut the end.
Smash cut the end.
Sorry guys, we were really into the MacGyver of it all. Do want to say a huge shout out to the Late Horror Show. Thank you so much for the super and DC.
DC,
Buddy,
thank you.
Thank you guys. Sorry, we were really in it. Thank you so much. That's really nice of you.
Thank you for the nightmare fuel.
Sorry guys, we're too serious in our own made up theories. Thank you so much. Where do you want to start with this? This film is so effective as well in terms of the perspective, I guess. But this does the opposite in a weird way. So the connection I sent to Vicky, I was like, oh shit, both these films are about third wheels.
Yeah.
But
which was so funny. I was like, you're fucking right. It is about third wheels.
Yeah, both of them are about third wheels. But this one, there is kind of like they have to make it. Should I just get on my soapbox?
Yeah,
they have to make it about the whole the guy who died, and it can't just be about their friendship and her overcoming. You know, they were both together when the husband.
Yeah, they
were all that horrific. Like, how would you ever climb anything again? I'm sorry, and this is like what
would.
Isn't it like 6 months later or a year later? It's not even.
I think it's
long.
like a year. Yeah, I think it's like the anniversary or close to it or something.
Girl, there are things I have not got over in years. Let alone like that shit would like I can't even imagine. And then she's like, let's go up this tower.
Yeah. No.
And everyone deals with grief in their own way, which is fine. But like we also don't have to anyway, it's the whole thing. But then the idea that that it becomes about him again.
Yeah.
Because of the infidelity, whatever happened, whenever it happened, I'll never get over her going, I'm sorry. And she's like, you sorry you got caught or whatever she is. And she goes, I'm sorry we fell in love with the same person. I was like, that is not a sorry, girl. Could you imagine? I'm sorry I did
awful.
it. That was such a stupid freaking thing to say when you get caught. I'm sorry I fell in love with shut the fuck up, woman. Like that is just fall already.
I'd have been like, all right, you're off the tower, jump.
Yeah, I thought that was disgusting. Talk about demonizing women. I didn't even write that down. Thank you so much. But sorry, I'm trying to find my notes. That was gone off. Everyone in this film, I feel like, gets the awful treatment. Especially, I mean, it starts with the father. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Later, I don't know, are we meant to soften towards him when we find out he was right, that the husband was not everything she thought he was? Is he meant to know? I don't know, but it starts with the father talking shit on this guy who died in the most one of the most horrific ways you could. I just like in such a horrific accident, and his daughter witnessed it, and his daughter's literally spiraling. And instead of going, what do you need from me? How can I help you? Like therapy, I'll be here for you. I'll listen to you. He says, get the fuck over it. He wasn't that good of a guy anyway. He literally like says it like if my friend, God forbid, anything like that happened, if my daughter, what the heck, Rudy? If that happened and someone, in their bar and they're drinking and you see them and they're trying to drive drunk and they're all over.
Just help her.
Get in the car, say, I'll drive you home. Number one, hey, babes, I got it. Don't worry. You just sit there. You let it all out. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to drink today, that's fine. We'll talk about it tomorrow. This is not supportive. And I know that maybe, it's been going over a year and he's like over it, but like, this is not the way you help anyone in any circumstance. Like, just don't even talk to her if you're going to do that. It's just awful. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
So from the start, it really builds it up that everyone's against her and it just demonizes everyone against her. So much that it gets to a situation when these two are together, that it turns into about the trauma and about the past instead of just about their friendship and building. And even if it does come to the same fruition, it would have been such a nicer story about strength and moving on instead of like, let's go backwards. And I wrote in my thing, I was like, does it even pass the Bechdel test? But it does, because they're technically, they're making all these like plans of how they're going to get out. But the fact that it's like, it all has to be about this thing that happened. All about the guy as well. It's not even about the thing that happened. That's what it should have been about. It should have been about, and I didn't put this in my notes because it is really morbid, but I am going to say it out loud, which is very me. Like, this is so not, I should not be laughing. The fact that they get up there, you're going to be so mad at me when I'm laughing. The fact that they get up there, this is a fictional story, guys. This is not real. When they get up there and they spread the ashes of his, and then this horrific thing happens there. She finds out that they cheated, and then her dead body is there, and her ex's ashes, they have, like, the whole thing is such a messed up situation. Imagine saying goodbye to someone, and then you're also spilling it in the same place where this new horrific incident has happened that is now attached to that forever. Do you think she ever wants to see that tower again?
Oh no.
And she's just let her whole, like, oh my, imagine, like I just can't, I keep thinking about that. I was like, oh my God, they're letting the ashes go there, and all of this is about to happen. This is going to be this is not what you want tied to the place where you let someone's, like,
the layers of trauma, like
oh my God, you need to burn that shit down. Like, that's crazy.
I was like, I couldn't heal until, like, that tower comes down now.
Yeah. And the fact that you've also, like, let go this, even if, whatever happened in their relationship, doesn't mean, I know it depends. These are fictional characters, but it doesn't mean because they had a bad, obviously awful part of their relationship, that part of their relationship wasn't real to them. And to let his whole spirit and, like, whatever you believe in, but, like, the whole body and the ashes go at this place, like, fuck, that is so. And also it's kind of fucked up that they climbed the tower because she wanted to, and then they let the ashes go, but he did die of a very similar, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
let's climb somewhere really high, and then we're gonna
let you go the way you went.
The way you went.
But then also, it's like, it's not even a nice area, because, like, when they were climbing at the start, that was in nature. It was, like, beautiful. Yeah, they're in a fucking TV tower that's, like, decommissioned. Like,
yeah, exactly, Brie, exactly. Why would you want to be spread at a random ass tower? It has no meaning, like, except to
structure.
Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just gone, bing. You know what? I don't want to do this, but she's going to make me. So why don't I just spread my husband's ashes there while we're at it?
Yeah.
How about you go, like, put them somewhere, like, in the fucking ocean or something? Somewhere nice.
She suggests it too, which just makes it, like, now that I'm thinking about it, makes, like, Hunter seem a little more, like, devious and shitty, that, like, because she's like, she suggests it. She says, like, I don't want, it's depressing me that his ashes are sitting there collecting dust. Like, come on, you can do this. You can spread his ashes there. And it's like, you're trying to make it all about you, girly. Like,
God, she is a demon. Just say it. She's the problem. She is the problem. That's why it's so different in Frozen, because it's like, it's no one's fault. Like, it is something that just happened through all of this era. But in this, it's, like, literally her fault. The whole thing, everything about it is her fault.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Everyone's awful. Yeah. Okay. I guess from there, yeah. So everyone's awful. The husband, all that stuff. But then also the pressure of the best friend. Not only did her dad do it to her, but then her best friend's like, you need to climb this tower. And then she says something. She says, the old Becky would have done it. Bitch, the old Becky. Her husband died. Did you not see that? Like, the old Becky, that was. Stop saying that. That's so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just beyond. And they climb all the way to the top. And then, like, the most sickening moment is when she's like, she says the old Becky would have done it. Tries to make her do the one hand off thing. The influencer. What do you call it? POV or whatever it is. People have died that way. It's just like, girl, I
don't even like.
Don't get me wrong.
Like, my stomach.
It's fucked up. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm an impulsive girly. I love it. But would I do that?
No.
I was actually looking up, because I did abseiling, which I honestly was the worst thing. I abseiled for charity off a building, and that was 226 meters. And how much did you say this was? 600 something?
About 610.
And I did this.
So you did like a third of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I, obviously strapped everything, all this thing. And like, so much that if you pass out, they can still blow you down. And I was terrified. Absolutely, like, petrified. I can't even tell you how scary it was. I think we talk about people being scared of heights, and I believe you're scared of heights, Vicky, but I think everyone's scared of heights. Like, I think that's like a normal.
I think it's natural. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a normal, like, instinct within us as humans to be 2 feet on the ground. So doing that and then taking the hand off and being like, the old like, why would you say the old person? The old girl would have put her life in danger, and let's not egg it on. Like, that's so weird.
She didn't have respect for it anyway. Like when they're climbing like that last bit of the ladder.
Oh, she shakes.
Like, she shakes it, and like I mean, and I only mention it because the movie makes a point. Like they show a close up of the bolt. Hunter shakes it, making a joke, and then they keep showing it. So it's like they're making it very clear, like she exacerbated this thing. So is she the cause of that ladder collapsing? Probably, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, it is, because number one, she's the one who decided that they need to go up there. Like, the whole thing is because of her. Like, I'm not putting blame on the other one. This is why this is why I watched, when I say I watched this film in the order, when we were talking about, you know, people blaming each other in the second film, I'm like, well, nothing compares to this film and how she was directly the cause of everything.
Yeah.
It also, okay, let me just, sorry, two more things. Also, for all the horror fans out there, it's giving two things to me. It's giving Final Destination. Were they meant to all die on that cliff at the start? Those two survived, and then they were trying to take them out. Fate, or whatever her name is, tried to, you know, is trying to take her out from the ether. Do you know what I mean? And then also the other one I think of, it's giving Jigsaw. It's giving, you need to be grateful for your life to survive. To the main girl. She lost a friend, and how dare she be traumatized? She needs to go out there and live a life and climb buildings. Or else, this is Jigsaw, puts you in a, you know, makes you climb up the tower if you're not grateful for your life. If you're not grateful for being alive, what's the point of living? He's such a
oh, and then she Becky ends up like gaslighting herself too, because they're like Hunter's trying to say, what's the thing that your husband always said or something, and then she remembers the quote, and it's like, if you're scared of dying, something about living. I can't remember. it was stupid, whatever it was, but it was like something about like, yeah, if you're, I can't remember. It's like something like, it started with like, if you're afraid of dying, something about living,
something very probably generic.
It was dumb.
Anyone know that one?
Something you'd find on like a stupid sign at like Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I was like, some Midwestern Hobby Lobby. Is it Hobby Lobby? Is that the
Hobby Lobby? Is the
I don't know what the
shitty
is.
Trump supporting
I can
ones.
assume what that is. I assume it's like the interesting.
Really doing that.
But yeah,
thank you so much, Matt.
Oh my god, sorry, Matt. Thank you.
You're okay. We're just on tangents. It's all good.
It's a warning about what happens when stupid people. It's just like such a bad friend. That's why I feel really bad for her in the situation, because you're like, what else bad? You know, like, she has no one around her that is like,
no.
Even her husband, if he was alive, he was still like,
yeah, he would have been like, if you're afraid of dying, something. And thank you, Civic.
Thank you so much. If you're scared of dying, you're not living.
That's what it is. Yeah, I told you it was dumb. Yeah, stupid.
Jigsaw has it on his house from Hobby Lobby. Yeah, it's just, I felt, I mean, you can rage over that. It's not like the biggest thing. Obviously, we're reaching. It's not the biggest thing. It was just annoying. And I guess, again, in comparison to Frozen, where they keep it so simple and keep it about the situation and environment, and it's no one's real fault. This one, they are blaming hardcore.
There is a culprit.
Yeah, and also the whole influencer of it all. But I think you've got that. So I mean, unless you want to get into it now.
I couldn't help it. I mean, Hunter is the Mr. Beast.
I don't know why
movie.
I didn't.
Like, I could see her. We're gonna scale this 2,000-foot tower, and the last one to leave gets $1 million. I don't know. I feel like there could be something like you could say, I guess, because we don't really see these people before. Like, you get that one little scene of the accident, and then it's a year later, so we don't really know them before. I think you probably could say something about how like creating certain types of content makes you a shittier person. I think in the case of like Hunter with like the thrill seeking, like very clickbaity. Like, I think they try to make that point with and I know you have a point about this too, when she takes the picture of the dying animal, and she thinks her caption is funny, and so there's that whole thing where it's like, you know, Becky kind of like chides her for it, like, the hell. And then a little bit later, she like shows her how many likes it has already, like almost like she's like saying like, ha, see, Like,
yeah,
it is like you're just lame. Like, and it's
yeah.
like,
Well, I mean, as well, I do think that there's a couple of things I think about that. One, I think that there is a responsibility of like, not responsible, but like the viewer, like the viewership is thriving. That's why Mr. Beast does so well in this shit.
Yeah.
And the problematic, no one wants to hear about it until later.
Yeah.
So the thing that I think though is we're giving her a pass a little bit, even when I said that, because they try and make it like, oh, you used to be like, just be the real you. People will more appreciate the real you than this like persona when you're putting it on extra for the camera. But I'm like, girl, she's awful. Maybe she should put on a persona. Girl, she's terrible. I don't think that they're that far apart. I really, just because you speak a little bit louder when you press record doesn't mean, if you're still doing it, if Mr. Beast catching strays, if you're still doing it for the sake, if you're doing it, if you're filming it, even if you're filming it for the hamming up of it, you're still filming it. So that is still who you are. So even if she's like, oh, you're not really that person behind it, she is. So she's just fucking doing it. Like, I don't understand. Like, there is, people can put, especially if it's a production and if, there's a producer and like reality TV, I guess is a little bit different where the people are produced into looking a certain way on camera. Yeah. But if she is editing it, putting it together, unless she's cutting out her stumbling over her words, I don't see how that's not her. If she's like, oh, I want you to be the real you. Bitch, she just made you get up there, hold on with one arm. I don't understand where you're getting that these are different people.
Yeah,
they're the exact same to me.
I think it's just an exacerbation of like it's a heightened version of her character already, which is like, which I feel like is a lot of YouTubers anyway. It's like, it's yourself, but you're depending on your content, like you're putting yourself on a little bit more, to
you're the one talking, you know what I mean? It's not a conversation. Sometimes you're filming yourself in your room, so you're the one that's
so I'm saying,
which is not normal.
Saying like the shittiness is there with her. She just becomes shittier because of the validation she's getting from her shitty behavior. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, and it can make people toxic, but they put themselves in that situation, and that's how it goes. Unless it's, as I said, a production. If it's a solo thing, it's a solo thing, But I also think it's just, again, it's just another way to make her character just so unlikable. Yeah, and I feel like me being attacked because of the way that they're saying influencers are. I feel like it's such an easy target to be like, everyone hates people who film themselves. Guys.
Well, yeah, because Becky even like, I feel like has a couple of like snide remarks about it. You know what I mean? Like, about her making content, or the fact that she, you know what I mean? Like, I think you're 1,000% right. Of like, it's meant to antagonize her character more. Like, she's one of those insufferable people that films themselves doing stuff because they're so self-centered.
But honestly, if anything, I know that she doesn't come across great, but if anything, I think like she says that it's her way of dealing with grief and trying to get back out there. But more power to her if she is traveling the world and doing what she wants to do. It's the only thing is the hurting other people. Getting her friend to come up there was the wrong choice, obviously. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really see. Yeah, obviously, I'm not going to say I see people who film themselves as bad people. But it's very interesting that it's just like the automatic, like, she's a stereotype because of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what the film's trying to like, it's because of the stereotype like that. It's like, of course she's going to be a content creator. And like, that's why, it's going to be about making the content and filming the stuff.
But do you think that they put that in there to bring her character, like add to her character and make her an awful person? Or do you think it was also a plot device to kind of get that footage and have the drone up there and like be the purpose that she's actually going up to this tower? Because otherwise, why is she doing it without a camera?
Oh yeah, I think it works on different levels. I think there is I think they're it's almost like catching strays a little bit, where it's like it's like an added benefit that like people even nowadays still, which I don't fucking understand because content creators are like, everybody's one at this point. But that stereotype of content creators like being self-centered, like I think it's like an added benefit because she is not a good character in this in this movie, so it kind of adds to it. But I think it's 1,000% like it is still a plot device. Like I don't think they would have gone to that tower otherwise, because it's about the thrill of it and the fact that it's like 2,000 feet tall and it's so extreme.
She needs to get the shot.
She needs to get the shot. Then it also has the added benefit of her having the drone, so you have an excuse to get these cool shots. The drone ends up coming into play later, with them trying to get like a message out. So it works on multiple levels. I think it's just an extra little thing that like it adds to the shittiness of her character because of a stereotype that may or may not have intentionally been played up in the movie.
Yeah, maybe. It's just interesting because they add it in afterwards. Like she goes away and then she becomes this whatever she's doing, influence or whatever. I don't know what she's influencing people to climb rocks, but
to go do crazy shit.
Yeah.
Well, she's just doing that. I guess what we see her doing to Becky is what her channel's all about. Like encouraging people to go, live your life and get out there and do potentially dangerous shit.
Everyone in this movie needs therapy.
That would have solved everybody's fucking problem.
Yeah. I just can't believe that you would know that you did that to your best friend and then encourage her to go up there by herself with you. Like, at what point are we just sitting down and having a conversation?
Yeah.
It's so evil. That's so evil. Yeah. She's dealing with grief herself for sure. That's like why she's wilding out. But it doesn't sound like she was a great person before that. Because I'm so sorry that I fell in love with.
I clocked it too because I hadn't seen this movie before. For obvious reasons. Right. But literally, as soon as the movie opens and like she makes like a comment to the husband or something, I was like, they better not be pulling a descent on me. They better not be pulling a descent.
You must have been so shocked when he died then.
Oh yeah, because I didn't know, and I was like, but I do remember from like. Yeah, like I've seen posters and stuff. I didn't see him.
Oh, it's only them too. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's not on the poster. He's not. So I'm like, I kind of had a suspicion that,
there was something coming.
Yeah. I was like, something is going to happen.
Opening up on a cliffside.
Yeah. I didn't see him in any poster or anything like that. But as soon as she talks to him, I'm like, they're pulling a descent on me. God damn it. It's just a little disappointing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Where did you want to go next? That was like such a conversation. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Imagine Fall and 4DX. Oh my God. How would they do that? Just like be like that ride, Vicky, when we went to Busch Gardens together and I was on that ride that went to-
Oh God. Yeah. And there's this movie. Fucking reason why I didn't want to get on that.
See, I told you I'm impulsive, but I'm not like it's not gonna do that.
For context, there's a ride that Emma got on all by herself at Busch Gardens. Nobody else did it. None of us did it with her. It's just one of those like those drop tower thingies, but like when you get to the top, it pulls your seat back, so you're
literally hanging.
You're literally like hanging
straight
facing
forward
the
to
ground.
the ground.
Yeah, and then it drops you.
all the way straight forward. And what was it called?
Oh, I can't remember. That's one of the newer ones there. I can't remember what it's called.
I wonder how tall it was.
Yeah.
That was
that'd be like scary. Let's like how many 2,000-foot towers was that
ride? Yeah, that Falcon's Fury. That's it.
Falcon's Fury. Probably like 200 feet. I don't know.
Let me have a look.
It wasn't.
It's 100. It's 102 meters. So still pretty. Not that my guys. It was terrifying. No, I shit myself, guys. When I love rides, I absolutely adore rides. I have to do them. Like I don't have a choice. Like my impulsivity is like you're here, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will close my eyes. I'm not afraid to say I will close my eyes. But
yeah, a roller coaster is one thing. I love a roller coaster, but that one I'm like, I'm good. Like which is crazy.
It's just the waiting.
Because it's crazy though, because I've ridden the roller coaster at SeaWorld that does the same thing. That it pulls you like that. But I guess it's like the idea of like the falling is like I can't.
Yeah.
But if I'm like that and we're doing a roller coaster, that's fine.
Yeah, I regretted every moment when it was going on. I regretted everything. Guys, you don't know how many times I've done that. I'm in the middle of something. I regret this wholeheartedly. But you got to do it. I don't know. You got to attempt it,
You got to do it. You got to do it. Thank you so much, Des.
Oh my God, Des.
Thank
that's so
you.
Nice of you. What is that in American?
No. What is that? No, I had to say, I wasn't going to look it up.
335 feet.
300. Wow, seriously? Damn. Damn. That's taller than I thought it was.
I did a roller coaster recently in Japan that was like 70 meters, the drop. And so 70 into feet. Yeah.
Because I feel like the She-Girl one was like...
Wait, not feet. What are we doing? What do you guys do? No, that is feet.
We would do feet.
700, sorry. Not, wait.
700 feet?
Wait, no. Let me try. Roller. I'm going to try and find the name. And I remember going up, and even that was like very structured roller coaster. And as we're doing the tick, 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 I'm like, okay, enough ticking. We're done. I've done enough ticking right now. It's 259 feet. So it's it's small. Yeah.
Yeah, that was technically smaller than the drop.
Yeah, but it was like when you tick, 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 tick.
Oh yeah, like that.
But it was the same with that. You're going up slowly, and then I see Vicky with my friend Fritz, and then Dean, and I just see them turn into little ants and disappear. And I say, now I close my eyes because my friends have gone. It's just me now. Oh my god.
Yeah, you were so confident going through the line because you just walked right onto it. I feel like
I have to, because otherwise I will like chicken out. Des, you're a demon. Des is coming for my neck. It's like there's a height. I'm very short. If people didn't know that.
Shit, there was kids smaller than Emma.
Oh yeah,
like, good for them. It couldn't be me.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, sorry guys, didn't mean to start talking about
roller coasters. Hey, it's relevant. It's relevant.
Is it? Is it not a ride?
The height thing, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
The only other thing I have is my other little mini soapbox. If we want to talk about the vultures.
Oh yeah, like go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. I didn't go as hard. I kind of made my point with the wolves, so it's a very similar thing where there's an inclusion of an animal in this movie that is antagonistic towards the end. They antagonize the characters, but we see them at the beginning. They're gnawing on that animal that is technically still alive that Hunter takes a picture of. But I feel like this is very common for like vultures and like cartoons and movies where it's like they're circling like near dead humans, like they're weakened, and so like the vultures are circling, and it's a symbol for like they're on their way out. That doesn't happen. Vultures don't do that. And I feel like the one thing that stood out was like they definitely wouldn't attack. Like it makes no sense why they attack Becky when she climbs all the way to the very top to like charge the drone, and they're like swooping on her. It just felt like a cheap like I'm sorry, like to me, like the entire thing is scary. Like it's terrifying enough that she's literally at the highest that you can get on this thing now, and she's just clutching on this tiny pole to charge the drone. That's scary enough, and then we got to add like the vultures all of a sudden decide to attack her for what reason? She's trying to get off the tower. Get her.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. It's like her literally they're grasping onto it and just like watching this. Yeah. For me that was enough. I'm like I don't even know how you would hold there. There's like survivor challenges that
that's what I'm saying. Like I'm like how like, and she's just wearing like athletic leggings. Like how is she not like slight, like it's not like slippery? I don't understand how she's not like
No, I don't get it either. She's really hanging in there.
And then if she were to drop off of that, like it's just a tiny little platform, like she's falling off the whole thing. Yeah,
it's a horror. I guess you have to add.
Yeah, and then there's of course the moment where she's kind of like sat and kind of like I guess kind of half fallen asleep or passed out, and then the vulture comes up and starts to like pick at her leg, which I guess maybe is like the more realistic. I guess if the vulture thought you were dead, then probably. But then it just ends up being like a device for her to brutally kill it and eat it, and then it gives her the strength.
Gets her strength to save the day.
Yeah.
All of a sudden she's at the bottom. All of a sudden she's at the bottom. That's like my biggest gripe as well, is that she just like appears at the bottom after everything we see her go through. We don't get relief. I actually double checked because I was like, did that? And then I remembered when I saw it in the cinemas, it ended so quickly, and I was like, such like a bad payoff, because you're waiting the whole time. You're seeing her charge the drone, get this, have this, and then all of a sudden she's at the bottom. I wanted to see the moment she sees, even if you just see the moment she sees the lights come her way. That's all you need.
I guess they were trying to
get that thing on her face, even if she sees it and then she passes out, and then there's how the fuck did they get her? Does anyone know?
a helicopter, I'm sure.
It has to be, yeah. But
You know,
why
when they
did we
like
not see
lower
that?
the
The helicopter
things or
coming
something.
towards her or anything.
Yeah, I guess
They
they were
didn't have
trying to like add drama to the like, did it work? Like, did the message get out? So it's like maybe that's why
but
they
then
cut it
she's just
out. But
and they do it for the reveal because then the dad pops up and then they're doing the body bag and then he's like, wait,
yeah, and then you're
it's
like, oh,
the
shit.
wrong girl. She's alive. And I'm like, I don't really care about the dad. I don't care about the dad's relief at this point, especially because of the way they built him up.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You're with her. She's the only innocent in the whole film. So like, let us, you know, especially when we've just gone through all this, like, is it going to happen? Isn't it going to happen? And you're right. Like that. Yeah, it's annoying. With what you're talking about with the vultures as well, I just saw randomly, it doesn't really matter, but I saw randomly that they're African vultures.
Yeah.
So,
why are they there?
Yeah. I don't know what they must look different, but I don't know. Yeah. We don't have vultures here. I remember I was in Florida, driving around with my friend Danny, and I was like, what the heck? What was that? And they're like, oh, they're vultures. Oh.
They're definitely bigger than the ones
I could not believe that they were just in developed areas.
Yeah.
For me, because I only know the cartoon version of them. Do you know what I mean? So I only see cleaners. Them. Yeah. It's funny because both of these have that kind of animal waiting in terms of like the Disney version of like I said, the wolves opening their mouths like, wait for the thing to drop. And then the vultures, like, I guess I always think of Snow White. I think there's vultures in Snow White and they're all like, he. The evil vultures, no? So Snow White?
We've been Snow White. I think of the ones,
Am I crazy?
The Jungle Book. Isn't there like a whole like vulture, they sing a song?
Do
I have that wrong?
Jungle
Book.
That's
what friends are for. Yeah, I'm thinking the Jungle Book ones. They sing it and they sing a song and
these are the ones I have.
They have like I think they make like a Beatles joke or something with their hair and it's
These are the ones I was thinking of if you click the link in the chat. Sorry, it's an annoying link for you. I can put it in the private one for you. It should take you to the little evil.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what I think of all the time when I think of vultures. They're like evil, like let's wait till see them die. So like for that, I get that, but yeah, interesting. They could have done like an eagle or something would be more.
That's not like a bird of prey, like something vicious.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like legitimately kind of vicious. Yeah.
And they could have done they could have done a whole thing where it had an eagle nest up there, and then
they're disturbing it. That gives the animal
that would
a
make
reason
more sense.
to attack.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't even clock that. They're definitely bigger than the ones here. Like I'm sure you remember, like the vultures we have here are pretty small. In comparison, I feel like.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're definitely going to look different.
Yeah.
But interesting.
Like I feel like they're about maybe a little bigger than a chicken.
Really?
They're not very big.
Oh my god, that's so cute. I love vultures. The baby vultures. I'm looking at pictures of baby vultures. Birds are so cool.
I feel like baby vultures are always cute.
Yeah, true.
Even a vulture.
So I thought, I just thought that was interesting because
but okay. I mean, I get your point. These definitely looked like more like what you think of as a cartoon vulture. I feel like.
Yeah, they're just hamming it up for us.
Yeah. But that is funny. I didn't even look that up, and I'm like, you're right. That's not realistic. Why are they there?
Yeah, I read that, and then I didn't really have a point to go with it. And then when you said that, I was like, wait a minute, and I know that they're not really
perfect.
Yeah, I guess speaking of some controversial moments in this film as well, just to round it out, we talked about at the start. I wrote her name was Shiloh. What's her name? Hunter. She takes the photo is it a goat or a sheep and the vulture at it?
Something like that.
I couldn't tell what it was. Yeah. And she's like laughing at the animal's corpse, which I know, like, I'm like, great, that's really all the horror fans are gonna love that. Great start. But again, so easy to make her look bad.
Yeah.
The bird fight, I mean, she's brutal. I can't, because like the ghost of Christmas Past, the girl who gets her up there, the hallucination says you need your strength, so she kills the bird, and then all of a sudden she's done. All she needs to do was kill the bird, and then we're gonna survive.
She just needed the strength to. Well, she kills the bird, so she has the strength to shove her phone in her friend's corpse, and then push the corpse off the tower.
Probably the most controversial part is shoe delivery via guts. That I honestly didn't remember that part, and that is vile, man.
Yes.
I loved it. I loved every moment of that.
When she says it too, like before she sets it
she's
up,
like,
she's
sorry.
like, I'm gonna like I'll have better cushion this time. And I'm like, how I like my dumb ass was like, is she gonna like take off her shirt and use that?
I mean, I never would have.
That's
That's why it's giving Jigsaw. That's why it's
Yeah.
giving Jigsaw, because it's like, look for the key inside your
Yeah.
friend.
I wouldn't have thought of that. And so she starts to shove the shoe in there. I'm like, oh fuck. Like
Yeah, it's a brutal. I love it. But unfortunately, the film could have been much more spicy. Apparently, the original dialogue included over 30 F-bombs, they were dubbed out as well. Once it was picked up by Lionsgate, and made PG-13, and it was done by AI dubbing, which is really interesting. Dubbing the mouths and changing the thing. So
yeah.
I don't. Honestly, do you need to take your I don't know what PG-13 there means. I always get confused with the rating systems different. But do you really need to take someone who was like under a certain age to go see this movie anyway and traumatize them? Like with the guts, like surely the guts is more, I don't know. I don't have a child, but surely the guts is more traumatizing than dropping the F-bomb. And it's just gets to a certain point where I'm like, who are we making these films for that we have to make them so accessible that we have to take some of the scariness out of a really tragic situation? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Once you cross that threshold of killing off someone in such a horrific way at the start, doesn't someone saying fuck really matter?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think there is like, I've heard like when I see like filmmakers talking about like trying to get past the ratings boards and stuff. I don't know how true this is, but they're like, I think there is like a limit to the like amount of curse words you can have in the movie. So it's like you can still have a PG-13 and have F-bombs, but it's only a certain amount of F-bombs before they're like, nope.
Yeah.
That's an R.
Yeah. Well, it's just what we were saying before. My idea about having the sheet for every word that's on a certain, do you know what I mean? Like you have to justify it in a certain way. Or not even justify it, but just like put your intent, you know? So you can say it 3 times unless they change it. 3 times, only 3 times. I do believe Rob said that they believe it was the first film to use the AI sense. Really? I'm really surprised by that. I honestly thought they were probably doing that for years with certain dubbing situations.
That's the first I've heard of it. Like when you put that like to dub over it, that's interesting. I didn't. That's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, it's interesting the AI of it all. That's what I thought was. And yeah, I mean, AI obviously is a very difficult subject, but in this case, if it is something that's already filmed and everyone's already been, it's not a piece of art, or it's a film with art. But if, you're not going to get the actors back to reshoot that thing.
Right.
To fix something that you need to correct because of distributing like after the fact. If it's not, you know what I mean? Like I actually think that makes sense for the technology, which is CGI. Do you know what I mean? Like it's, so it's, I mean, that's like, there's black and white, and then there's so much gray as well in terms of like the small things and changing things so that they can actually have the film move forward. Interesting as well what Des said about the cheating woman must be depicted as unsympathetic. Yeah, they give her they give her like every layer of awfulness you can have. Like they just don't stop coming with the awfulness for her. Well, she never had a chance.
Yeah, well, then there's like nobody else to blame at that point because the husband's already dead because he's also to blame.
So it goes all back on her.
Like, he's also to blame for this. Yeah,
honestly, it's just the cherry on top because you find that out the last thing about her, but she's egging on, trying to get her up there. She's taking the photo of the dead animal. She's shaking the ladder. Like, there's so many things that you're like, oh, of course, this fucking bitch is.
Yeah, that's enough for me.
Yeah,
like, I didn't need that added thing. Yeah, I was already like, she's a shithead. Like,
yeah, but I mean you're 100% right though, Des, and that's why it was annoying. It's because the situation is already damning enough that they could have made it about their friendship and moving forward and different things like that, and just adding fuel to the fire, and it just made her death so much like, okay, we're done, girl.
Yeah,
we're done. It's very interesting, I guess. Yeah, especially compared to Frozen, which does it so much better in terms of humanizing people and just not having to ham it up. So yeah, sorry. They used artificial intelligence dubbing technology system that alters on-screen mouth movement. So they basically, instead of going back in months later and trying to like reshoot, which would never have worked,
Right.
they change it for the rating and whatever it, you know.
Huh.
But it was later released uncut on Blu-ray in the UK. But they also had more gore that they cut out. So I don't know if that's also on the Blu-ray. That would be very interesting to find out. Yeah. The other version. Because I remember seeing this in the cinema and I'm pretty sure it was just me, Dean. I don't know how Dean's watched that. He's not into scary movies. And that is, yeah. I don't know. There's scary and then there's just like, you know, terrifying.
Yeah.
And both of these films I found were so thrilling in such a different way that weren't trying to like scare you, but more like, yeah, just
get your heart pumping, like.
Yeah. But yeah, when we saw it, there wasn't many people in the cinema. I'm not really speaking too much because I went and saw Wolfman the other day, and it was only me. So yeah, it's just interesting because it's like, who will we cut? Like, what is the demographic if we're cutting out all of this kind of stuff, and for what? You know what I mean? This film could have just been. It's such a good idea, and I do think the way it's shot is really effective, and there just could have been such changes to the characters that actually made it a good storyline as well as just not a good setting, because the setting is great. Yeah,
super effective. I was
yeah, very effective.
Yeah, I was uncomfortable the whole time.
Me too,
the whole time.
I'm just seeing what Eric said, because Eric was talking about the replacement for face stuff. So I think we touched. Eric, let us know if I missed anything, because I just read that quickly. I don't really know the deep back lore of it. If you know more, I know Eric knows their stuff about this kind of subject.
Interesting.
I think I covered all of mine, maybe in a roundabout way. Sorry, guys. Well, I'm still very rusty.
All of mine.
I'm a yap at this, I swear to God.
Does fall offend you?
No. I mean, it annoys, like, people are annoying in it, and it's very, you know, but it's, I don't know. I like this film. I actually ended up giving, although I really prefer Frozen, I ended up giving it the same score, I think. I think it does what it needs to do. It gets in there, gets out there. And again, we're fucking reaching. So every time we're in here complaining,
it's
taking the fun out of it. It's because there is no other place to do it. Normally we watch it and go, but this is the place where you get to go over it with a, you know, one of these magnifying glass.
Yeah, the magnifying glass.
Yeah, and really see, those cracks. So what about you, Vicky? Or did you want me to do a poll?
No. Yeah, I dropped one. Yeah. No. I'm offended by like how many. I mean, they definitely made the most. I'm offended, quote unquote. Not really. How effectively they used all those drone shots to show and remind us at how fucking high up they were.
Yeah,
like, I didn't know.
Yeah,
the whole time, like, I almost couldn't watch the movie.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. I remember there was one point I was like pacing. I think the things that got me the most was like the one hand off thing.
Yeah.
And then the other one when she's like just holding her hand and she hasn't got any hands.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like I would not rule out talking to most people. There is not like one I'm trying to phrase the sentence, and I was like, wait a minute, no. I was gonna say there's not like one thing that would get me not to like talk to another human being, but there is a lot of things. But that would be one that seems completely out of the blue. But if someone did that, like I was just like, I can never relate to you as a person.
No. No.
But I guess maybe one physical action.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, wait a minute, no, I'll burn all the bridges. But that's definitely one. I'll put that in my list. Yeah. It's just a like what an idiot. I love risky behavior, don't get me wrong. Like I think
that's something else though. That's
not
like
all you want, but like that is absolutely
that's different.
Insanity and disgust. Like it's actually, I feel like I'm getting Jigsaw. Like I'm Jigsaw is coming into my spirit right now and saying, "Do you deserve to live?"
That's the thing with this movie too. Like at no point I don't have the same like thought process for it like I do or Frozen. Like Frozen is like to me very much like what would you do kind of movie. This one it's like you would have to like knock me out and then put me on top of the tower like for this scenario to make sense, because I wouldn't even
move.
like I wouldn't have made it 4 steps up the ladder, and I would have been like,
Yeah.
okay, that's as high up as I want to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because when I did that abseiling, I've done skydiving, and that is so different because you're strapped to somebody, you don't have any control, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't have a fear of flying because I'm out of control, but like the whole idea of having to, you're the one doing that and you're connected by that, it's not by a professional. Like, there's just so many different things.
No.
And it's not a Jesus take the wheel situation. You're literally, you got the wheel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're in control of this.
Yeah, it's so bad. And yeah, after going up that high and not being able to do that, like I nearly had to back out of what I was doing. And so some context of the situation, I know a person who is visually impaired, cannot see anything, like on the level of blind. And when I was doing that for charity, it was for a charity for the blind, and she's well known, and she went up there and she was in my group coming down, and she was shit scared. And we were laughing about it afterwards because it was like the wind and the atmosphere, and you know what I mean? I had my eyes closed half the time, and I'm like, yeah, it's like, it is just your instincts just kick in. I don't know how they got up there.
Something about the cells in your body are like, I'm not supposed to be this high off the ground.
Yeah, like, I'm literally getting chills because I remember I literally was in shock when I came down, and it was all regulated. This was a charity run they do every year. Like, I wasn't special. So many people have done this, and I could not tell. I was like, I said, I'm never doing anything like that again. Charity, I'm like, that is my line. I feel sick thinking about how scary that was.
Even for charity, I'd be like, how much money can I donate to not do this? Because I'd rather, you know what I mean? Like,
but there were people up the top crying, and there was like a mayor crying of like a local, there was people who were like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. And you're like, it's you're up here. You're strapped in, like that's the only way down, you know?
Yeah.
And I just keep thinking about that, and I just don't know I don't even know how those girls did that. I just don't think it's even possible. But you see these clips of people in like Dubai and stuff doing that. Like, that's how some people have died doing. I don't know what the actual technical term. It's not parkour, like when they're all the way up there. But there's a term for it, God, it makes me sick. I actually feel sick thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so terrifying. But I guess like the other question was, well, this is kind of going in, since we said that how we would get down with the Frozen, how would you get down the other way? Which more scenario? Of course, you'd be Frozen, even though I think Frozen is terrifying. Yeah. Frozen, someone's coming back.
Somebody's coming back eventually. Yeah. If you can make it that long. It's not as high up. It's a survivable fall.
Yeah.
Like, broken legs is better than
and you're
pulverized
sitting
on the ground.
You have a safety bar. Do you know what I mean?
You have a safety bar. Yeah, I don't think, like, genuinely, without like climbing skills and things like that, like, I don't think you're surviving that.
Yeah.
Like, being
one is weather,
no way down.
Yeah. One is weather as well. Like, that whole point of Frozen is it's called Frozen. Like, if it was, if they were just on like a chairlift and it was just over, it was summer or whatever, it wouldn't be, or wherever they are, it wouldn't have been they would just trapped to survive.
Like them, them just sitting there wouldn't be as dire. There wouldn't be frostbite. They'd just be like uncomfortable and have to pee and maybe get sunburned. But
the time crunch is the weather. So it's very interesting in the different situation. But I don't know. I guess the only thing I can think of with the fall is they didn't try, it sounds so stupid, but they didn't try and get down just like by scaling it. That's the only thing I can think of. Again, use your ski, somehow scaling the thing and like it's just like a fireman's pole all the way down. That's the only thing I can think of. They didn't try and make some kind of rope structure where
I see what you mean, like if it's wrapped around
palm trees or whatever. Yeah. I don't know how, I mean, the thing is probably way too tall, way too wide for them to get a rope around, but they didn't, you know what I mean? Like, that was never a question. That's the only thing. But I do feel like at least they talked about it a little bit more in terms of trying to figure out what they were going to do.
Well, that, and they only have the one rope, so one of them could have gotten down, and then you just got to hope that hope it's not a situation like Dan, like hope they make it down and then get help. Otherwise you're fucked. And then you don't even have a rope and you're
the whole thing. Witchy bitch, you're killing me with that. I was like, that is exactly what I was thinking of.
Yes, exactly. Like
I was like, where's the rope? I had it in my head, and that is exactly
the
kind of the idea.
like it. I mean, I think I would have definitely tried to rely on the technology as much as it. Like my first thing would have been like to use the drone before it like ran out of juice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not wait days to try it. Like I would have tried that first.
Yeah, I don't know how any of their phones survived for like 4 days or whatever it was, 3 days. I always wanted that too, because she was like looking at pictures and stuff, and I was like, surely you'd be.
Oh, she was like wasting it. She was like looking at pictures. She looked at the video, remember? Because she like zooms in on Hunter's face when she's like, I think something's going on. Yeah, she was fully wasting the.
Yeah. And they skipped through this for obvious reasons because it would have been boring as hell to watch. But basically they send Hunter's phone down first, right? Because they're trying to get the thing out. So the other phone is the one that they use to control the drone, because they need to put like an interface on the drone, I believe. I don't know if it's, Rob, tell me if I'm wrong with this, but I believe it's one of those drones where you have to use your phone as the interface, and they were using that. So I'm like, so they have to download the software? Like, does she have the software on her phone?
Oh.
Or if I'm wrong, that it is a drone that comes with an interface, but usually you do use your phone for those tiny ones, which is what she has. Yeah. So I was like, how does she have the hookup? She sat there with a serial number. Like,
yeah, like
let's connect it. I don't know. I could be wrong.
When they didn't have a signal. Like,
yeah. So I do think about that, but maybe she did have a drone that had like it wasn't one that needed the phone interface. But I was like, wait a minute, they sent down the other. They sent down. Was she not using her phone earlier for it? I swear she was.
I can't remember though. It's like it was one of those things. Like I'm not like paying that much attention to like the phone, or like, is that the same case? Like
usually I'm not, but when we go through and we'll.
But
for this, I was trying to think about it.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about it though. Interesting. But you're right though. Yeah, how it's maybe a plot hole. Maybe a plot hole.
Maybe, possibly. We'll never know.
We'll never know. All right. Well, that was a very long episode.
That was very long. I didn't expect to be long. We really yapped.
Which was crazy because we both came into this thinking like, oh, we don't have a lot for this.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging with us, guys.
Yeah.
Staying through that. Don't forget to give a thumbs up.
Oh yeah, give us a thumbs up. Our links are in the description, so you can keep up to date on when the next episode's going to be. We alternate. I mean, you guys know this. We alternate channels every month. So next month will be on Emma's channel. We don't know what we're going to do yet, but
we'll be discussing that straight afterwards.
We'll be discussing it straight after, and anybody on our Patreons will be able to see us, riveting 10 minutes of us Googling and deciding what to do.
Yay!
And us being like, So thank you for watching. What do you have coming next on your channel?
I just put out a Wolfman.
Hell yeah, same.
Have you done yours yet? I know you went and saw it.
Mine will be up tomorrow.
Perfect.
I did see it. I saw it yesterday.
Perfect. And I think I'm going to do an extension on that.
Okay.
I've got an idea that I'm kicking around to talk about werewolves in some capacity, since it's on the tip of everyone's tongues. And then I have an answer to I got myself in some hot water with a bad take, so I have an answer. I have an answer to that. I just wanted I wanted to yap, guys. And if you want to listen to me yap about things that we're not meant to talk about as like reviewers, come on over. I'm breaking all the rules. I'm breaking the fourth wall. So that's the ideas. But I did put out a second most anticipated video. I did a first one like a week ago, and then lots of stuff was changed. So I went back in, I looked, and I dug up some really cool original films that I haven't spoken about yet, and I didn't know. So I wanted to share that with everyone. So lots of content.
Nice. Coralie video will be up in February. I'm saving it for Women in Horror Month.
Woo! What do you got coming up?
Des had a really good idea for a video that I'm gonna steal.
Oh, fun!
Not steal. I mean, it was. I asked for a suggestion and he gave it. But I kind of want to save it for Women in Horror Month. It's gonna get me lots of fun hate comments, I think, from a certain demographic. I think, which that's what makes it fun to me. I'm excited about it. I feel like I don't get any like hate comments anymore. It's a weird thing to complain about.
Yeah.
Weird thing to complain about. I also after Wolfman Goes Up, I did finally watch Terrifier 2 and 3. So I have like a kind of discussion video about that.
I can't wait for that.
Weirdly, it might be like a very similar topic to having a bad take. I think.
We'll see.
That might be. We'll see. We'll see. Actually, I actually don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's all across the board on that one.
Yeah,
for many
but I
reasons.
finally caught up, so I'm going to share my thoughts on 2 and 3.
Oh,
That's it. Yeah.
all right. Thanks, guys, so much for coming. Thank you so much for hanging out.
We'll see you in about a month on Emma's channel. Talk about something else.
Yeah, we'll be there. Follow us for updates.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
We're leaving the waving.